really started to talk and became friends while we were deployed in Afghanistan. That's where we met. I know, of all places, Afghanistan. But that's where I saw his sense of humor, and he got a little bit of my sense of humor, and we became friends.
Oh man. So we first met when we were deployed back in 2014 in the squadron, and spent a lot of time, about 5 months out in Afghanistan. And yeah, I dropped a little hint on her when we were eating at the chow hall, and just a little hint. And I was hoping she picked on it, but I didn't know. And I think she did, just because Rachel's pretty smart like that. And then that was it. That was what she wrote. Just kept in contact, stayed in touch, kept dating, and this is where we're at now.
So we went to Olive Garden, and afterwards he decided to take me to a drive-in movie theater. Mind you, this was during the winter, so we were both freezing while watching the movie, but I had an amazing time, and I would do it all over again.
Okay, so the first day was over at Olive Garden. Picked her up. We drove about an hour and a half from Clovis over to Lubbock. I think she had chicken marsala. I don't know why, but I think she had that. I don't remember what I had, but it didn't matter what I had because I was just really interested in her and just getting to know her. And then after Olive Garden, we went over and watched the movie in the drive-thru, or drive-in, excuse me. A really old school throwback. That's Rachel's personality, kind of old school throwback. Even though she's a 90s baby, she still has that, what she says, an old soul. I don't believe she got an old soul, but I still love her for it. But yeah, we watched the drive-thru, and then we made an hour and a half drive back, and I thought she would have passed out. Excuse me, I thought she would have passed out on the drive back, but no, she stayed awake the entire time. I'm like, okay, she's real. I can feel that.
I started to notice when I moved back to Texas, and he wanted to see me often, regularly, and he was still living in Clovis, New Mexico. And if I had a 3-day weekend, he was like, Rachel, I'm getting you a plane ticket, come see me. And I knew that he just wanted me to be in his presence. He also would surprise me and say that he wasn't home when I would show up, and he would pop out a closet or something and scare me. But I told him that from now on that he needs to make, his presence known, because I like to carry. So now he does that.
So I had an idea and an inkling when we moved in together in Montgomery, and we were together for that entire year. I never lived with another woman ever, and it was tough. I knew I had to overcome certain challenges and certain things, like this is the way I fold my clothes, this is the way I do dishes. And she made me change in a good way. We negotiated. I'm like, okay, I see your point. And so I was thinking, I was like, man, Charles, you don't ever change or do something different for anyone, but you did it for this person. I was like, okay. So that's when I started to have the idea. And then actually before I was about to leave the States, talked to one of my line brothers. And he's like, Chuck, if you're going to be about this, you got to be right about this. You got to be all in. And you got to think about this. And you got to give it all in order to understand where you're at. We're not getting any younger. And so I moved over to England, and every single day between talking, messaging, whatever, just always staying in contact and putting forth that effort and energy to talk to her. And I'm like, I've never done this before. And I thought to myself, I'm like, I think she's the one. I think so. And yeah, and it was good. And that was it. That was what she wrote. And I sat down another day when I was in Denmark, and I wrote in my book, and I was looking at the shores in Denmark and Aalborg, and I was writing, I was like, I think I love Rachel. I know I love Rachel. I think I want to ask her to marry me. I think she's gonna be my wife. And that was it, and that was it.
So he made sure that both his sisters were present, and that my mom was on FaceTime, and we were all in England, in the UK, because he was getting promoted to lieutenant colonel. So he made sure that we were all present, there for it, and also his 2 nieces were there. So after, he was promoted, he gave his speeches to his family, to his sisters and his nieces, and then I was the last one So he comes over and gives me flowers. He's like, oh, there's something underneath your chair. And then he gets on one knee, and then out comes the ring, and he asked me to be his wife. No, I was a mess. I was so surprised. I didn't think he was gonna propose to me, let alone at the ceremony, at his promotion ceremony.
So he took the time out of his moment.
He did, and no one knew. He said only maybe just the camera guy. That's all that knew.
So planning for proposal. I asked one of my friends I worked with. I was like, where did he get his ring from? Because I lived in England, and so I wanted to get a ring that I knew that was guaranteed worldwide and take care of it. And he's like, take a look at this website. Took a look at the website, bought it off the website, and then I was thinking like, when is the best time to do this? So around about this same time, she was coming over to visit me. We were gonna go to Croatia and go to Paris, and then finish up in London. And I said, I don't want to ask her in London because I want her to be around family and friends that they would remember the moment too, besides me. And so we went to the Eiffel Tower and kind of hinted a little bit, bought some champagne and a glass and everything, and just kind of teased her a little bit, and but I knew I wasn't going to do it then, but I knew right around the corner it was going to be my promotion. I knew that was the time. I was around family and friends between my two sisters and my two nieces that came out to pin me on for my promotion ceremony, and Rachel was there to pin me on also, and then friends and family that I work with, and friends that I consider family also, and that was the moment that I knew I was going to ask her. And so after she pinned on my rank, I had my speech. I thanked everyone for being there, and then I thanked my nieces, I thanked my sisters, and then I thanked Rachel, and then I said, oh, wait a minute, I wish you guys would have cleaned up over here. And I'm like, sweetheart, you got something underneath your chair. And then she's looking around, and I stooped down and grabbed nothing because I already had it in my pocket. Got on one knee, and that's when it happened. And my sisters, both of them, I can remember my older sister. She's like, shut up. And then my little sister's like, no way. She's getting her phone out, about to go videotape and everything. And I knew what was going down, so I reached in my pocket, pulled out my ring, and or put out the ring, and then asked Rachel, and Rachel tried to keep it cool. She tried to be thuggish, is what she called it. Thugs don't shed no tears. And then she looked down, and I was like, and then she looked, and it just started happening. Just waterworks started happening. So, and that's it. I know it's more than what you asked, but that's it.
No.
I totally forgot about this part. The other part that went to planning of this was I'm an old school guy. My parents from the South, mother's from Savannah, and father's from born in Alabama, and so they raised me to be a Southern guy. So one of the things I knew I had to do, besides just getting a ring and then asking her, there's something in the middle of that, which was asking her mom for her blessing. So I called her. I was driving home from work, and I called Rachel, and Rachel, it just so happened she was with Miss Novella, and I was like, is your mom there with you? She's like, yeah. I'm like, let me speak to your mom real quick. So I talked to her mom, and I was like, Miss Novella, is Rachel around you? She's like, no. She's like, yes. I was like, can you go someplace where she's not? I got something I want to ask you. So at this moment, I had to pull off on the side of the road, and then because I didn't want to get a ticket. And then Miss Novella went. I think she went to another room, and she asked me, what do you want to ask me, Charles? I was like, ma'am, I'd like to know if I can have your blessing in asking your daughter in marriage. And she's like, oh, Charles, I'm so happy, oh, Charles. Thank you. I just wanted to get rid of Rachel off and underneath my house. I was like, ma'am, is that a yes or a no? She's like, oh, yes, Charles, yes, please, take her. So I said, thank you, ma'am, and I've been thinking about this a long time, and I told her, I let her know that I was going to ask her my promotion, so Miss Novella is one of the few that actually knew that was going to happen. My sisters and my mom didn't even know I was going to. Well, my mom knew, but she didn't know when. But my sisters did not know. And then she's like, okay. And then we talked a little bit more. And then she asked me. I told her, I was like, wait. We got to plan this out now. We got to, she's gonna ask you what in the world we talked about, because she's gonna be like, because we got to figure this out. So what's she gonna do? She's like, oh, well, tell her that we were talking about you surprising me, but I didn't get my passport to come over and see you, so we were just talking about that in order to figure it out and get things together, but we couldn't, so that's gonna be our excuse. So I was like, Mr. Vela, awesome. I love the way you think. We got this. We're not lying. We're not even fibbing. We're delaying the inevitable. And so shoot. So we were like eye to eye, and we were all good to go. So that's the other part about planning the engagement out and the proposal. Excuse me. So thank you.
Charles, babe, I'm so blessed to have you in my life. You have been there through my rough times when I have hit rock bottom. You have always been there for me. I cannot wait to become your wife and Mrs. Thomas. I love you so much, and I can't wait to spend the rest of my life with you.
Oh, so her personality, her humor, she put me in check. I think that's one of the biggest things that really kept me really interested in her. Just keeping me in check. A lot of the past relationships and everything I kind of got over, and I could do whatever I want. But Rachel held me in line, and that reminded me of a lot of those strong women in my family, between my mother and my sisters and my grandmother, and just just keeping me focused, keep me in line, and keep me in reality. So I look a lot of their qualities were in Rachel, and that really kept my attention and kept me interested. I just want to thank everyone for coming out, from family and friends all across the world and all across the U.S., and just enjoying this moment with us. We're happy, and I'm happy that we got to unify our two houses together, House of Thomas and House of Chandler, and we got to bring this together. We're going to create lasting memories and share that with love and everything else that goes along with it, and just building our family. This is the step one, and then step two will be coming up next. So thank you very much, Rachel. You want to say something?
Yes. Thank you all for coming out.